Next up, we got to talk about the Buffalo Bills taking on the New Orleans Saints. Bills are 6-4, coming off a really disappointing loss against the Indianapolis Colts. The New Orleans Saints are coming off a loss against the Philadelphia Eagles 40-29. And when you look at the Buffalo Bills, man, like the Buffalo Bills season is kind of teetering. You get what I'm saying? Like, going in, there were a lot of people who picked Buffalo to represent the AFC this year in the Super Bowl, and there were a lot of you Bills fans who were mad when I picked New England to win the AFC East. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything right now, but New England right now is on the top of the AFC East, and there were a lot of Bills fans who were quick to say, the Patriots dynasty is over. It's a new reign in the AFC East now. The Buffalo Bills are the champs. Now, there's still a lot of football to be played, but I'm just saying. And when you look at Buffalo, there were a lot of Bills fans who kind of were really upset with Sean McDermott after that Indianapolis Colts loss, as you should be, because Jonathan Taylor single-handedly train wrecked you. He had 5 total touchdowns, 185 yards on the ground, 5.8 yards per carry. He literally carried the Colts, literally, not figuratively, literally carried Indianapolis to the win. And when you look at Josh Allen, I feel like his decision making this year hasn't really been the greatest. And on top of that, you look at Buffalo's defense, their run defense hasn't been all that great, but you always got to take into account they are without one of their starting defensive linemen and linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who missed last game. But overall, I think that when you look at both of these two teams right now, when you look at Buffalo, they really need this win, because if you have another consecutive loss, 6-6, this is kind of the wrong time of the year to start going cold. This is the time of the year where you should start peaking, not going back. This is where you should start to figure out what you are identity-wise on the defensive side of football, on the offensive side of football. Meanwhile, when you look at New Orleans, we knew New Orleans wasn't the most talented team coming in, but we knew that New Orleans, led by head coach Sean Payton, was going to be a formidable team, and they should be around in the playoff conversation, and they have lived up to those kind of expectations so far. They're 5-5. They're still in the middle of the NFC playoff race. And even without starting quarterback Jameis Winston and him suffering a season-ending injury a couple of weeks ago, the Saints still have been a fairly competitive team. Now, you look at their loss versus Philadelphia, probably the worst game that the Saints have had for the whole entire season. Trevor Siemian wasn't really all that great, and on top of that, they kind of couldn't really have an answer defensively for slowing down Jalen Hurts. Now, Sean Payton, in my opinion, if the Saints make it to the playoffs this year, without a doubt, without a question in my mind, he should be the coach of the year. And I know there's a lot of people out there who want to give it to Cliff Kingsbury, who want to give it to Bill Belichick, but you have to look at the job that Sean Payton has done so far and just be amazed. He's pretty much doing the job he's done so far with freaking scrap parts that he's finding out of the junkyard. The Saints right now, we don't know if Alvin Kamara is going to play in this game. You have pretty much a wide receiver room that really probably is the worst in the NFL. Michael Thomas isn't coming back no time soon. So the offense, even though it hasn't been the explosive New Orleans Saints offense that we have been accustomed to seeing out of the Saints over the last couple of years, it's still enough to really get the job done. But I feel like the Saints offense stalled so much last week against Philadelphia that the defense ended up being on the field for too many plays, ended up getting gassed. Now, the Saints have one of the best defenses in the NFL this year, and their defense is a large reason why they are in the position that they are right now in the middle of the playoff race. And you're looking at a Buffalo Bills offense right now that I don't really want to say they're out of sorts, but I kind of feel like they're struggling in certain aspects. The run game still hasn't really found this rhythm. They still don't really know who their lead back is. Is it Devin Singletary? Is it Zach Moss? Heck, is it even Matt Breida? Can we get some more Matt Breida, please? And then on top of that, the Bills have turned the football over 9 times in their last 3 games. The first 7 games of the season, they only had 6 total turnovers, and they have had 9 turnovers in only 3 games. So you're looking at a really good Saints defense that's really good. They're pretty solid getting pressure on the quarterback. They have a pretty solid secondary. Like, this is going to be a really tough game for the Buffalo Bills, because we look at Buffalo and we say, whoa, JT, Buffalo is a better team, and Buffalo is a 5.5 point favorite in this game. But when you just look at the way that this Saints team is constructed, I feel like this Saints team is more than capable of being able to beat Buffalo, because you look at the struggles that Buffalo has had offensively with the turnovers, Josh Allen with questionable decision making. You kind of have to be very worried about how your offense is going to perform against a very good Saints defense. On the other hand, if you are a Saints fan, you know your defense is going to keep you in the game. The question is your offense going to be able to score enough points? Now, if you lose this game and the offense doesn't have a great performance, I don't think you're going to end up saying it's going to be because Sean Payton with bad play calling or questionable game decisions. I feel like if you lose this game, it's just going to be because maybe you don't just have... Maybe you're just lacking in talent, pretty much. I really feel like that's where the Saints are coming up short. Like, I just feel like the Saints just don't have enough. And you guys know I'm a big fan when it comes to coaching on this channel. Like, in my opinion, my philosophy is coaching trumps all. If you have a great coach, you can make up for a lack of talent in certain areas. But at the same time, though, you still do have to have at least average or above average talent. And for the Saints, when it comes to their wide receiver room, that kind of has been a huge concern for this offense. They haven't really found that number one guy. They kind of, they just have guys at wide receiver who are okay from week in and week out, but you don't really have that number one guy. Now, Traquan Smith has been reinserted into the lineup over the last couple of weeks. They're hoping that he can end up taking over that number one wide receiver role and ended up being that go-to guy, but so far they don't really have that. Then tight end Adam Trottem, who is on his way to having a breakout season, he's out. He's going to miss a good duration. So the Saints just keep having blow after blow when it comes to their offense. And on top of that, we don't even know if Alvin Kamara is going to play in this game. But luckily for the Saints, okay, being a Saints fan, if you are, you're looking at a Buffalo team that got shredded against a Colts team when it came to running the football. That's all Indianapolis really did, was just hand the football off to Jonathan Taylor. And what has been the staple of the New Orleans Saints offense all this year? All the run game. And even if you don't have Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram is more than capable of being able to get the job done, because right now, Buffalo's defense, led by defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier right now, they're kind of a little bit in a bad spot right now after that performance that they put up on Sunday. So don't be surprised if you're a Bills fan and you see that Bills defense once again have a lackluster performance stopping the run. Even if Tremaine Edmonds comes back and he plays in this game, I still think that the New Orleans Saints are going to be more than capable of being able to have success running the football, because I don't really think that the Buffalo Bills defensive line is just all that great up front. I don't really feel like they have a lot of depth there when it comes to their defensive line. So the team that I'm going to take to win this game, I'm going to take the Saints with the upset. And it may sound crazy, but you look at how the Bills' offense has performed. Josh Allen's decision-making hasn't really been all that great. They haven't really been able to find the rhythm when it comes to establishing the run game. And I just feel like the struggles that the Bills have had over the last couple of weeks plays right into their hands in terms of what the New Orleans Saints do well. So I'm taking the Saints to win this game. 22-17 is my final score prediction in this game. Who you got winning?
I like a lot about what you said, JT. I'm feeling more like a low-scoring shootout game, 24-17 Saints.
Okay.